Whoa, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, why can't I see the live feed on the show? Oh, smokes, we actually are live. Jesus. Okay, cool.
That's
Jeez,
why we have the.
so time.
That's why we have the. Yeah, I already did. That's why we have the hand signals, bro.
Oh,
So
you recording it though?
I was, all right, it's recording now, man.
Let's go ahead and do this, shall we, man? This should be fun. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday, May 26th. Real day weekend. It's as
So this
fabulous
is.
as you are doing this awesome day. I got my partner on the other side, my man Alex Pepete. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you? Hoping everyone had a great weekend, great Memorial Day weekend. Uh, how was your
Sweet.
Memorial Day weekend, Jordan?
What did I do yesterday? Uh, honestly, I just worked out. Got an Apple Watch. That's pretty much it, man. As far as like the weekend overall goes, um, hmm. Oh, I celebrated my sister's boyfriend's birthday. Got a little smack that day. That was fun.
Sounds like
Yeah, I
fun.
feel pretty. Yeah. Have you ever
Family
played Junk
activities.
Jenga?
Have I played what?
Junk Jenga?
Drunk Jenga?
Yeah.
I'm guessing
You
that's.
ever,
I'm guessing that's Jenga, but when you're drunk.
yeah. Okay. So basically, what you're doing is each tile you make a blend, you make a category for it.
Okay.
So one of the tiles you pull out could be 10 squats. So you have to do 10 squats. And another category can be truth or dare. So you gotta either say one or the other, or like a shot. Like so, basically, you just keep pulling tiles out. If you knock the whole thing down, you gotta drink the entire drink. It's
Really?
dangerous.
Wow.
It's pretty dangerous, bro. It's pretty dangerous, bro.
Sounds like a good
Like
time, though. Sounds like a good time.
yeah. What about you? What did you do this weekend? You worked?
I worked and I kind of just turned my mind off and I been
So did you experience any crazy stories this past Memorial Day weekend while all things are starting to open back up?
work. It's
That's good, bro.
yeah. It was a lot worse when it was first happening. There's a lot of horror stories from then.
I bet, man.
Yeah,
I
like
bet. That's a
yeah.
different.
Just
That's a
I'll
different
I'll just
day.
bring up one of them. One of the worst ones. Just one day, someone went into our restrooms. They're actually the reason our restrooms right now are still closed off to the public. One day, someone came.
Really?
Yeah, someone. One day, someone came in, took a crap, and then smeared it on the wall. But smeared it on the wall
Ew.
in the shape of a smiley face.
That happened this weekend?
No, that happened like 2 months ago.
Oh,
But
that's
like
still not.
that was it was just so awful. Like we're not letting anyone into that restroom ever again. I don't think.
Why would you let anyone into the restroom regardless
When they
after
do, when
that
they
type of incident?
exactly,
Customers only, bro.
E- exactly, exactly. You get it.
Disgusting.
You get it. All right, man.
Oh,
So
man.
we should talk about some sports. What caught your eye this weekend?
Well, before we do all that, let's go ahead and introduce everybody first off who we are, where they can find us, and what we got going on before we go ahead and let our guest in. He just messaged me right now saying he's in the waiting room. So let's go ahead and let's just introduce this guest in our show, shall we?
Okay.
All right. So you're listening to P&T Show. If you are curious of where you can find us, follow us, keep up with the greatest things. On Twitter, you can find us at official underscore PT show. Instagram, official PT show. And we also are on Apple Podcasts at Ponte and Dopete Show. Woo, that was a mouthful. But today we got Sam Shienbaum coming out all the way from Michigan. Top 15 long snapper in the nation, committed to Army Black Knights. Yes, I said it. Army, West Point, unbelievable. I'm very excited to get to know a little bit about long snapping. I don't know much about that. Do you know anything about long snapping, Alex?
Um, I just know that when I first tried, like when I first started playing football, my stepdad tried to get me to master it, and because I was a center, I always played offensive line. and I couldn't get the hang of it. It was too foreign of an art to me, you know.
When you play football, what position were you?
I played a couple positions, mainly just defensive line and offensive line throughout my adolescence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slowly approaching
Yes,
the
Sam
appearance
is
of Sam Shienbaum, all the way from Michigan.
audio is
Wait, this should be
connecting.
fun. I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped. But sorry.
So I was gonna say one thing
Damn, I really
about
just lost my train of thought.
thing
Just ran off the
one
dome.
thing I will say about long snapping is that I figure out a way to throw. It's not like it's not like snapping a regular shotgun snap. It's like throwing the ball. Whereas like I remember I had this problem where I was just trying to snap it and I kept snapping it straight up in the air and it would always like fall
Same.
back down around where I was instead of where it was supposed to go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a kid, I was just pretending to snap the ball, thinking I was the greatest long snapper in the school.
Were you at
And
least
then I
were you
remember,
good at it though?
no, but you want to know something funny though? So, uh, first time I played football, because my parents, I mean, I didn't really get to play tackle football much unless it was with my cousins. So the first time I got to actually participate in football, it was for YMCA flag football. And the position they put me at was center. Like, hey, I'm open. I only got one touchdown.
Hey, one touchdown's one
Oh,
touchdown. Looks like we have Sam on the show. Sam, can
How
you hear
are you
us?
guys?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, how are you guys? Good,
Awesome.
good.
what's up,
Awesome.
Sam? Welcome, brother. Welcome to the P&T show. I'm glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
I was somehow seeing him face to face. The only thing I know about Sam is from stories that either your cousins Ruby and Rocco tell me or Bruce. That's literally how. That's all I know from you. So like, and then I did my research. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, hey, this is cool. This is gonna be fun.
For sure.
But let's go ahead and get started, man. So top 15 in the nation among long snappers. Okay, first off, how do you become nationally ranked for long snapping? Like, how is that a thing?
Well, um, there's this guy named Brandon Cornblue, and he's nationally known, and he travels all around the country, and he's very well known and from the NFL, from college. He's primarily just long snapping and kicking. So
Hmm.
he takes care of the specialists. And I got the opportunity to, like through film, through Twitter, he found me and I guess saw that I had talent. So he invited me to a snapping camp. And that was my first camp in Canton, Ohio at the
That's cool. Is that how Army was able to find you?
yes, Army called Brandon Cornblue, and Brandon Cornblue gave the coaches my name, and they gave me a call.
How excited were you when you got that call from Army? Because I mean, that's not like an ordinary call. That's just like once in a lifetime type of phone call.
Yeah, funny story. I was actually on the way back from another visit, another college in Michigan that I had got offered by that day,
Oh wow.
and on that visit, Brandon texted me and asked me if I was interested in West Point Army, and I said, "Why not? Like, sure, yeah." I wasn't like too familiar with Army at the time though, and on the way back, I got a call from New York, and I couldn't answer it because I was driving. So I called the coach back when I got home, and the first thing he said to me was, "Wow, you can really snap the hell out of that ball." So I mean, straight from there, I mean, it was such a great first impression, and it led to the other things.
So what made
That's
you
great.
go in the decision of long snapping? What made you decide to stick to it when you first started
Uh,
practicing?
my sophomore year, I was on JV, and our snapper was not super good. And I mean, just me being an athletic guy, I thought, why not? Let me try it. And so I snapped the ball once in practice, and the coach called me the snapper. So from there on out, I was the snapper, and I guess I don't know. My mentality is like I don't like want to just like suck at something. Like I want to have more knowledge. So I mean, I just started watching videos and learning more about it, and I became very good at it. And then my junior year, I mean, my coaches just told me like wow, like we're doing this before. You could really go to college for long snapping. And then I mean, from there on out, I just started training and getting better.
You were tight end before. Was that your first position, and then you switched over to long snapping,
Um,
or did
my
you play
sophomore
two?
year, yeah. So I played tight end and long snapper my senior year. Uh, Before that, I played like offense, defense, wide receiver, linebacker. But my senior year, I played long snapper and tight end.
Nice, nice.
So you
Hey,
played baseball in high school as well. I could see that they say, I'm really gonna miss this about playing baseball, or are you gonna? Do you have plans of maybe playing for Army?
I mean, I would love to play for Army, but yeah, I mean, I definitely look back at the baseball season, just thinking about last year and having that camaraderie with all the guys, and just being around that great environment out in the sun playing baseball. Like, I miss it a lot for sure.
that's good. Wow. Have you visited Army? After you got your scholarship, did you ever go and do your visit?
Yeah. So, I visited. Uh, I forget what month, but it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks right after they called me, and so they hadn't offered me at that time, and I stepped on campus and we took a whole tour with the football coaches, and there was a bunch of other recruits there too, who were also uncommitted, but I'm pretty sure they had offers at the time. Um, so at the end of the visit, I met with the head coach, and he asked me, um, well, actually, no, what am I saying? They offered me, yeah, the coach came to my house.
Yeah.
One of the coaches came to my house a couple days after they called me, and they offered me, and they said we'd love to get you on campus. And then so we went to campus and we toured it, and I fell in love with it. And I mean, from there on out, like such a historical like monument, pretty much. Like it was just it was surreal.
Is something about being a long snapper? Do you have to have that bond with the punter so that you know how the punter likes his ball snap per se? I don't know if that's a thing. It's just one of
Yeah,
the
for sure.
questions I ask you.
I definitely in high school, my junior year punter is one of my best friends.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So I mean, we had that thing.
Yeah.
And then senior year, it was a new punter, but I mean, I knew I had to do my job and I had to bring him close to me and see what he likes and what I like.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, there's definitely a bond between punter and snapper. It's definitely useful to have one.
How
So
long have you been
there's
playing football? Oh, go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say there's kind of like this age-old debate between how sometimes on a botched field goal snap, they say if the laces are facing the kicker, people debate on whether it's the snapper's fault or it's the holder's fault. Are you able to control like when you snap the ball, how it ends up in the hands? Because I always felt like it's kind of unfair to judge the snapper based on how the snap is received.
Yeah, for sure. I do know how to. I can vary where my laces go.
Wow.
Say, I mean, this is like how I do it. Um, for regular punts, I hold the ball like I'm throwing it. Like I put my hands on the laces. For field goals, I don't. I rotate it 180 degrees. Yeah,
You really must have been practicing that a lot, huh?
yeah, I mean for sure. Like you want to get used to it. You want to see where you can snap it, how you can snap it, how fast you can snap it. There's a lot of variations.
It's down to an exact science. You have it down to an exact science. You hear a lot of specialists and like field goal specialists. Do you have like aspirations to play in the NFL one day and maybe make it as a long snapper there?
That would be amazing. I mean, whose dream isn't to go play in the NFL as a little kid? Just growing up playing football, I mean, that would be amazing. I never thought I would be a long snapper, but it's an amazing job. That would be amazing.
That's dope. Who's a football athlete that you try to embody a game in, like after? Like who's someone that you look up to and say, "Oh, I like how this guy works. I want to do some of the similar stuff that he does."
There's this long snapper who he snaps for the Colts. His name's
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, he's a very very talented snapper, and his work ethic is outstanding. Um, there's also another guy. His name is Matt Dooley. He snaps for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was at one of the Brandon Cornblue camps that I attended, and he really really helped me there.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
so I got to know him a lot, and he lives in Indiana. So he told me whenever you want to do virtual lessons, I would be more than happy to. So I mean,
Look at you.
him and Lucas Rhodes for sure. Those are the two guys who I look up to.
Look at you with the Steeler in your corner to help you out.
Go Steelers.
Lalo hype, can't help it. Don't hate you, man. Steel Nation. But I know you're a Steelers fan, huh?
I'm an Eagles fan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I figured. I figured. Wait. So since you're an Eagle fan, you ever think Jalen Hurts is ever gonna get that starting position?
I mean, you never know. He's like
Yeah, you
I
never.
mean, work ethic. He has that dog mentality. I mean, he's a great kid, and if they can't put him at QB, they'll find some way to get him on the field.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, literally, that's pretty much literally what he is. Um. So how long have you been playing football still, Joe? Like when did you start?
Uh, I started playing tackle football in ninth grade, but I mean, I've been playing flag football my whole life. It's just me having my parents. They were always scared of me playing tackle football because they didn't want me to get hurt. And two of my coaches my basketball coaches who coach football for the high school freshmen, they convinced my parents to let me play.
Wow, that's nice. Is I was about to ask, because I know over here in Cali, like the weather, it's so calm. Like even as a snapper, like you can't really lose grip of the ball. I'm pretty sure the weather in Michigan is below freezing sometimes, and like you tend to like lose grip of the ball. Have you ever experienced like I'm trying to figure out like what's the perfect question to like lay this out. Have you ever played in the West Coast at all, like during like training or anything? Like you experienced the different weather conditions?
I have not played in the West Coast, but Michigan weather is tough. One day it can be 70 and sunny, the next day it'll be 34 and freezing. Um, so the beginning of our seasons, we were playing in 80 degrees, like super hot weather for us. Um, so I've snapped in games where it's just the sun's just beating on us and my hands are sweating. And I've also played games in the snow. literally.
You
So I
said
mean,
So for
and
those
the
games,
rain, it's crazy.
so for those games where it's bad weather, do you wear gloves, or are you someone who's strictly no anything on the hands?
Beverly Hills is like 5 minutes away though. Franklin is that's where Bruce lives. So me and Bruce live like 2 minutes away. Yeah, pretty much. Um, we're about 20, 30 minutes away from Detroit. So you just hop on the highway and you'll be there in 20 minutes.
Damn. Hey, you said, dog. You are set. Weren't you from Ohio originally?
No, I was born here.
Why am I so like? Still trying to figure. I'm still trying to figure it all out, bro. Still trying to figure it all out.
So
Well,
Sam, I have just one last thing, Sam. So I was someone who tried long snapping when I was playing like little league football, and I was always the kid who I would snap it, but it would go straight up in the air instead of back. How would you tell someone to correct that?
If your snap is going up, I would tell them to extend their arms out more and bring your butt down, lower your butt.
Right.
That's something that I need to work on because I'm recovering from shoulder surgery and finding my strength back is definitely different than it was before, and I'm definitely a lot bigger now. So being stronger, you got to find how to snap the ball more efficiently.
Super interesting.
I'm gonna definitely pass that information down to all the kids that I come across.
Yes,
Hey,
to
especially
get
looking at
there.
after school programs. Hey, kids that want to be long snappers when they're in
Or
after school programs.
or you could be like Sam and not realize you're super good at it until you try it.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
never be afraid to actually try new things. I guess, especially on the field. All right, Sam.
True.
Hey, well, I got one more question real quick before we head out. With COVID-19 going on, have you heard any word that Army's gonna continue the season for the fall?
You know, that's still to be determined.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty. Nobody really knows what's going to
Yeah.
happen 3 months from now.
Uh,
What I have heard from school is that I will be going to school and I will be living on campus.
there you go.
Uh,
All right.
Obviously, I'll have to be tested and on quarantine for 2 weeks, probably when we get up there, maybe. But NCAA just passed something that athletes can be on campus. So I mean that definitely helps. But if there will be a season, I truly think that there will be limited fans or no fans in the stands. Um, I mean, it's just so like football is a contact sport, so you're
Yeah.
breathing, tackling, and sweating on everyone. Rather than like where baseball, you're not touching anyone really.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
no one really knows, I guess.
Yeah. Well, when it does happen, Sam, we do hope you have a very great career. Definitely gonna be watching because hey, no one else on my face Army.
My,
So
my
without further ado,
stepdad every year makes me watch the Army versus Navy games, so I'll be
yeah.
watching those for sure. Looking for you.
Yep.
Thank you again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Congrats on announcing you're going to Army, and good luck there. Can't wait to see what your career has in store, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thank you, Sam.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
For sure. See you guys later.
Thanks, Shienbaum. Woo! Army, long snapper.
Awesome.
That was awesome, bro. That was awesome. I feel like I'm ready to go out. Wait. So let me see if I got this correct.
You're gonna practice your long. Is that what you were doing in the middle of the? You're gonna.
I'm gonna try that real quick. Okay. So he said squat, right? Arms out.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Butt out like that. Arms out.
I think.
Boom. I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, I think I can do
Yep.
it.
Yep.
One training session, I'm ready to go.
My long snapping days are long past my prime.
Hey, what did you think of the interview, man?
It
I
was
loved it. I
super
thought it was great.
informative. I couldn't, like, it was so amazing hearing from a long snapper himself say that he can vary where the laces land on the snap. Like, do you know how exact of a science that has to be? I'm still kind of like tripping out in my mind over that. Like, honestly. So, like, all this time I was thinking Pat McAfee was a fool. Pat McAfee was right.
Dude,
Honestly.
okay. Dude, okay, you know what's crazy? When you mentioned that Colts long snapper, the only reason why I know him is
Because of Pat.
that,
I was about to say it's probably because of Pat.
and then obviously like watching the Colts, very informal. We had another great interview.
That was Sam.
around the corner.
That's Sam. That was Sam Shienbaum. That's how you say it, right? Shienbaum.
Yeah, Shienbaum.
Shienbaum.
I
He's
thought
going
I
to
messed up
Army.
his
He's going to be
name. I
their
was
long
waiting-
snapper. So, once all this starts coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to have Rachaad White, former Mountie. He's actually now going to be a Arizona State University Sun Devil, the same university that one of our good friends of the show, Chelsea Gonzalez, Olympic softball athlete, went to as well and graduated from. I unfortunately went to U of A, so we're gonna see.
Just flexing hard on him right now.
I'm not flexing hard at all. I'm not flexing that hard. I'll take the hats down by the time he comes up.
What you mean?
I'll take the hats down.
True. You got a hat on the left, and then you got another hat on the right.
Yo, but this one's pretty fly though. This one's pretty fly.
It's still Wildcat, man.
Bro, I have
Hey,
a
you know what?
jersey right
Share
here
your
too.
pride. Hey, share your pride. Share your pride. It's okay.
Boom.
I probably would have done the same.
But you're not, Mr. USC.
No, I'm not. At all. I am not. Alright, man. We got some news to drop, so should we go ahead and do it?
Let's drop this news. Let's see what we got. Let's
I
see
got-
what
I got a
boiled
few-
in the melting pot of NFL and COVID news with all the sports news going on this weekend, I guess.
So, first news of the news break goes. Patrick Ewing is now out of the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19. That comes from his son tweeting that his father is back at home and is getting better. All the best wishes to legendary center Patrick Ewing. Hope he recovers well. Did you hear the comment that he said about, was it him or was it someone else that said about the Dream Team?
No, what was the comment?
I'm pretty sure it might have been Isaiah Thomas. I'm not sure. I found it. Michael Jordan Toronto, and I won't play if Isaiah Thomas on it. Oh, basically it's the same old, same old.
Interviewing Michael Jordan, and I think they caught Jordan saying that he wouldn't play if Isaiah Thomas was on the team. And then the person who this information came from, they told Michael it's okay because Chuck Daly, the coach, doesn't want Isaiah on the team either. So Isaiah like made a lot of people mad in his playing days, you know.
Dude, he did.
Like low key, he made a lot of people mad. He's a great player, you know, really good player. You know, people always say he's like top 3 in point guards of all time. But,
yeah, bro.
You know,
Definitely.
He burnt too many not loose ends, but he burnt too many bridges.
Facts. Did you hear the news about Daniel Lillard saying he won't compete if the NBA is resetted to a COVID Cup type of format?
He won't?
He wants to. He's saying, yeah. So right now, Damian Lillard said he won't compete. That he restarted the NBA season if the Trailblazers does not have a shot to make the playoffs. Does he have a point? Like the bottom teams.
What is their standing in the rankings? I almost forgot what it was like to say that. Standing in the
It's on ESPN. So basically, you know how the NBA
What
is
seed are
trying
they?
to.
Yeah, I know.
Huh?
What seed are they? Are they just trying to put all teams in like a bracket?
Yeah. So did you see what the NHL is doing? Honestly,
No.
I personally think that the NBA might do this. So what I learned from what I learned from basically just coaching and just looking up random things, the NHL is called the COVID Cup, where they would rank the teams from 1 to 24, but I'm pretty sure that is not all the teams. So what they're
Yeah.
going to do is they're going to squeeze all the teams to play into one, and then they will basically have a March Madness type of tourney,
I
but
mean,
for pros, in one place.
I mean,
I don't know, bro. Like,
I
you
just
think the NBA
I
is going to
think
do that?
I honestly I don't know what the NBA is gonna do at this point. They have so many options they can still do since like their season was so close to ending, but there was still so many like possibilities that could have happened, especially towards those latter halves of the standing conference standings. I mean, um,
Mm-hmm.
the NBA I think is going to have its regular playoffs. It's just that the teams that were fighting to try to get back into the eighth seeds, I think they're going to be just out. I don't think the teams that are out of the playoffs right now, currently, are going to get to finish their season and try to get those eighth seed spots. I think that's what's
Dude,
going to happen.
dude, Sam, you know what's crazy though? That with this break happening for the Trailblazers, the
Uh-huh.
star center has the potential to actually come back.
Oh yeah,
Like that's pretty good for them.
Jusuf
That's
Nurkic.
yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good for them.
Well, it
If
is.
that
It's great because
happens,
they have Melo now. Remember,
yeah,
they
yeah,
were a
no, yeah,
great. They
exactly.
got to the Western Conference Finals last year. People forget that.
People are so quick to forget that.
Well,
So quick,
because they played like Dookie this year.
dude. I
They
ain't
played like
know.
straight Dookie all year.
Did you see that the NFL? Well, I know. Well, this is just news, but did you hear that the Steelers are gonna cut down? I think it was 50% of their ticket sales to combat with the requirements to allow fans to come in. They're basically
50%.
trying to cut. They're trying to cut the amount of people that are allowed in the stadium because I read that Ohio State AD came out saying that he's open to bringing fans in,
Mm.
but cutting the attendance, like basically only allowing a certain amount of thousands of people to come in. Because that stadium in Ohio was huge. So
Right.
same thing with the football stadium. Like they're gonna have to cut. They're gonna have to cut the attendance anyways. Do you see any other teams going? Like, do you see any sport besides them doing this?
Honestly, I see a lot of sports doing this if they want to have any sort of ticket.
Fans.
Well, yeah, well, just like some sort of ticket sales. I don't even know if it'd be considered revenue, considering you'd still have to pay for like all the amenities to be run, and you're only getting at, at most half of what you'd be making. So, um,
If you think about it, though,
I think we're gonna see sports with no crowds, and it's gonna be like a reality. And I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like just staged crowd noise, like in the broadcast. It might not even be played like in the PA systems. The crowd noise might just be for the broadcast only. So
dude, I want to hear.
it's
I
gonna
want to
be really
hear.
weird.
It's gonna be interesting. It
It's
might be
gonna,
fun.
you know what it is? It's gonna be the laugh track version of sports. Not
Yeah.
like what the laugh track is to like TV. That's gonna be
Yeah.
what it is. Like I would rather hear no crowd whatsoever. Hear the
I
players
want to hear
talk
this.
like what we've been advocating for the last couple months. We want to hear the players talk.
You know how dope that'd be? Like just to be able to hear the players
That's
talk and like get to know kind of like a golf match. We'll get to that
oh the match.
later.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, but kind of like you know how they put audio on them. I know that was like forced, but like you know what I mean. Like like I want to know like kind of like MMA. Like you can hear the fighters' coach rings like on the side, like basically yelling at the fighter like do this, do this, do this. Like just imagine like Tom Brady just calling an audible because like kind of like Peyton Manning, you can hear him say Omaha.
Mm.
Like you can hear Tom Brady like as a box with no crowd noise. That's like a gem. Like me personally, I feel like that's a gem.
I think it's a gem for so many different sports. Like you get to hear just
Yeah.
like I think each sport you could like pick out something you want to hear. Like I want to hear what like LeBron is saying as he's like leading a fast break, you know, and it ends up being like this ultimate spectacular thing. Or like the insane trash talk that James Harden is dishing while he's hitting his step back 3 pointers, you know? Like in baseball, I would love to hear the chatter between the catcher and the batter before the batter either strikes out or hits a homer. Like that'd be amazing, right? Because all game long those two are going back and forth, you know,
Oh,
and it'd be a
imagine.
what like you know what I mean, and it'd be amazing.
Just
Like
imagine.
what else? Like what else? In football, I would love to hear just kind of like what the XFL did. You know how they were doing like the headset broadcasts and all that? And they were like letting the coaches like what the coaches were telling the quarterbacks was broadcasted
Do you
on
think the
it was
NFL is gonna
awesome.
do that?
No, they would
The
never
NFL
do that.
should. They should do
It
that
would
though.
no because I think teams who are trying to gain a competitive advantage would
Mm,
start
yeah, you're right.
watching in real time.
Mm, yeah,
So
you're right.
all right,
You know how much
so
money that would make though?
it'd make a lot of money. And let's go ahead and switch gears to college football, specifically Arizona State. We got Rachaad White is joining the program. Rachaad White was a former Mount Sac Mountie. He had an amazing sophomore season with them and is now going to be a Arizona State Sun Devil. Rachaad, how you doing today?
What's going on, Alex? I'm doing all right.
Fulcum.
Nice, man,
Fulcum.
nice. Forks up, right?
Right.
All right.
How
Rachaad,
you
I
feeling,
just
Rashad? Oh, go
What's
ahead.
going on, man? I'm feeling good. How y'all feeling?
good, good. Rachaad, I want to know. I know you have already gone on other platforms and talked about how you kind of committed a couple days before you announced it. I want to
Right.
know. I want to know what kind of went into that, such an early commitment, and not exactly why you kept us waiting, but like why Arizona State, since it was such like a late player in all these teams that were recruiting you. Um,
Yeah.
was there anything that specifically like spoke out to you when you were speaking to like Coach Herm Edwards or any of the coaches there?
Um. Really, what spoke out to me, I feel like is player development and also just resources, connections, and the relationships you have for a lifetime with coaches like Coach Edwards, coaches like Antonio Pierce, coaches like Marvin Lewis, coaches like my running back coach Aguano, and right things, the right things to do.
You ever got into woke up last season? Like not like as soon as you see Herm Edwards come through and Antonio Pierce come through, that program went from I mean, not a lot of people really took them serious to we should probably take them serious now. Like I'm pretty sure you're excited about that.
Yeah, nah, it's it's exciting. Another stepping stone. My journey in life. And I feel like ASU is just the right stepping stone. When it comes to like I said, guys who have been in a situation like me. Um, just coaches, things like that, getting right. Yeah. I mean, I've talked. I mean, I haven't spoke with Daniels yet, Jake Daniels yet, but Jaden Daniels yet. But I plan on speaking to him and talking to him, and just building that relationship, that bond. which I feel is going to be key.
You
So
still, oh, go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
no, go ahead, Jordan.
I was gonna say, you said you were doing how many days, well, how many times do you train a day? You said you were training before you got on, and then you're gonna train right after.
Yeah. So like I train. I lift every morning at 11. Um, like I said, regardless if it's a ab day, things like that. Like I'm going at it 7 days a week, basically. But also with me going at it 7 days a week, I gotta put the right things in my body, eat right, things like that. So that's why I've been really kind of focused on gaining the right weight, putting the right thing, putting the right, right food in my body, right nutrients, things like that. And ASU been kind of, helping me. They send me things, what I need to do, what I need to eat,
I was
right,
about to ask you.
So
healthy
AS,
foods.
so
Uh,
ASU's, so how is ASU like? How have the coaches been in contact with you? Is it all like still Zoom meetings still? Or are they sending you like workout plans and regimens? Like you said, they were sending you dietary regimens. So like,
uh,
what has the communication been like with everything?
Communication been great. It's Zoom meetings when it comes to sending me the playbook, us just going over football, talking plays. He's showing me practice scrimmage film from the couple spring practices that they had, just things like that, filling me in, get me involved in, so I can know what's going on when it's time to report and know my job and things like that. So communication been great. Yeah, we got great communication. I talk to him like every other day, regardless if it's Coach Hill, the OC, Coach Guanu. We Zoom every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just things like that. Yeah. So communication is great. And yeah, when it comes to like I said, meal plan, things like that, food. Yeah, they send me that, and we go from there.
Do you know when? Do you know like when? Not exactly, but like a certain time frame. You guys are expected to start practicing over there in person, or is it just kind of playing it by ear with Zoom meetings still?
You kind of just play it by ear. Some schools don't want to risk it. And for me, I feel like I don't know. When it's time to report, I don't know about. I will report because it's not necessarily. I don't believe it's mandatory. It's just like you lifting with strength and conditioning coach for an hour, 3 days a week, which I feel is great. But um, back home I can lift. Like I said, I'm lifting with my coach back home. My trainer back home, 7 days a week, things like that. So I feel like, more than, longer than an hour or so, you know, I feel like that back home, being back home, just home cooked meals, eating the right things to help me out in a way, the training that I'm getting back home to help me out in a way. I feel like better than, going up there right now to ASU because that's really all you can do when it comes to summer.
Makes sense.
Arizona's hot in the summer too.
Especially Phoenix, man. Tempe. Oh my gosh. I think I've mentioned it before, Rachaad, but I went to the University of Arizona Wildcats. So
This man is
Yeah.
flexing
I'm not.
so hard right now, bro.
Jordan's making fun of me because like I'm wearing one of their basketball jerseys, but no, I'm excited, man, because honestly, Arizona State has such a great coaching staff. I think you're gonna thrive there, because it has so many experienced
Right.
NFL level coaches, and I know
Yeah.
like from the beginning that's been your mindset, your goal, you're working towards the NFL. So I'm super excited to go see you
Right.
ball out over there for sure.
I appreciate that.
Anytime,
Did you
man.
pay attention to Arizona State any time last season while you were at Mount Sac? Because I know you got a scholarship to UCLA, but did you at least like look at the other teams and be like, yo, you guys doing?
Nah, I didn't really. I even really still didn't. No offense, no knock to UCLA. I didn't pay
Yeah, I know what you
attention to
mean.
them. Like I was just focused on Mount Sac. Trying to lead Mount Sac, trying to get the guys' mind right. Just focusing in the now.
Nice.
Trying to finish out strong at Mount Sac. So, no, I really pay attention to Arizona State when it came to stuff like that at all.
Uh, I want to ask you a quick NFL question, Rachaad. Your favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs, and if you watched the draft, I'm sure you saw them take running back. What's his name, Jordan?
Oh,
Edwards?
Swift?
Yeah,
No, not
Clyde
so.
Edwards.
Clyde Edwards. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think of their chances of repeating and getting to the Super Bowl this upcoming season with that addition?
Um, I think it was a great pickup for me. I feel like. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like he was best back in the draft when it comes to he can do it all. So like no knock against Swift, but LSU put Clyde on a platform where he could show all of his abilities. So you know what I'm saying, like routes, things like that. Not only can he run the ball one cut, just like Swift, things like that. But I felt like when it came to catching the ball out the backfield, motioning it out, running routes, I feel like he better than DeAndre Swift at that. But I feel like it was a great addition to the Chiefs to what they're trying to do. I don't know when it comes to chances because it's hard to repeat. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is that man, so I'm not gonna count him out ever. Never do I. I mean, that's home team, hometown, but. I mean, I say they got great chances to repeat, but it's still hard. They don't get everybody the best. Like if they think they was getting everybody best already, like everybody gonna come to play regardless if it's the worst team in the league and give Chiefs a run for their money.
What's
Right.
our relationship like been like with Antonio Pierce? Because I know Antonio Pierce used to coach at Mount Sac while you were there, so I'm sure you guys have a unique bond. No, now that you're about to be at ASU.
Um, yeah, relationship with AP is great. Like AP, set aside from my coach, AP like my guy. Our relationship great. I feel like I can go to AP talk about anything, um, life wise or just things like that. When it comes to having that certain bond with a coach and with a former SAC dog, as myself now. So I feel like it's great, and the relationship gonna be it's a lifetime relationship.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, coming from, I mean, he literally is following you on your journey. It seems like that's actually pretty cool.
I
But
actually have an Antonio Pierce signature. I went to his camp. I used to have him out Sac all the time. He would do it every summer for the little kids playing league out here. Um,
Okay.
Rachaad, last time you were on the show, we got into a debate about whether or not um, the Lakers or the Clippers would win the West. You still
Right.
think the NBA said they're going to resume? They're trying to resume by June. You think that the
Yeah.
Clippers would still win with everything that's gone on since that last
Uh,
conversation?
in the Western Conference, yeah. I mean, I feel like they'll still be the favorite for me to go to the championship, especially with like everybody rested, well rested. On their team, I mean, their team didn't even play that many games together, and they only lost like 2 games when their team was fully healthy on the court together. So, yeah, I feel like the pieces that they got, the assets that they got, yeah, I feel like it's gonna be tough. I mean, I like the Lakers, and no, not, and I like LeBron, I love LeBron, one of the greatest players ever, but just I don't think they have enough.
I still think the Lakers would take the town. I still think they'll win it all.
Right.
that'll be
All
interesting,
right.
though. I still don't like this, though. But that'll be interesting. I mean, I like his point, though. They really haven't played much together until, who knows, until possibly right after this.
I will say this: I think Kawhi Leonard's been well rested all season. All
Right.
right, all right,
But,
Rachaad.
go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, I was gonna say, your idol's still Le'Veon Bell, right? You still trying to idolize your game over that guy?
Yeah, but I feel like I take pieces out of kind of like everybody's game.
Who,
Uh,
what players are you taking besides Le'Veon Bell?
I feel like a big thing that me and Lady I have in comparison is in common is patience, things like that. So I like that. Add that in my game. I mean, I feel like I already have it, but I'd say I take Alvin Kamara, things like I said, that stuff like Clyde do, Evans and Lair, just being a dynamic back when it comes to being able to do it all. So I feel like I take route running, things like that after Alvin Kamara and just other guys like I just see Christian McCaffrey, things like that, quickness, speed, elusiveness, things like that. I like to take some of his moves, put that in my game. Just being a student of the game, just being you have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Saquon Barkley, I just think he a freak. I like what he do. Stiff arm, just how solid, how smart he is. I like his IQ. Put that in my game and just certain things that certain backs do.
Damn, you seem ready already, bro. Damn, you sound anxious already to go start your season.
Oh man, I just
You ready, aren't you? You
patient.
ready?
It's been a long off
Yeah,
season.
right.
What
Yeah,
you
very long.
when you're not training? What you doing?
Shoot, nothing. Relaxing, really spending time with my girl. Just watching movies and still just eating. Or just messing with my boys. We talking sports, things like that.
Got the movies you want? What movie you been watching?
Mm,
Any good ones?
we watching like Bad Boys.
That's a movie.
Yeah, we watching like Bad Boys.
You see the third one?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, it was fire. Yeah.
Might see
We be watching like horror movies, things like that, some thrillers. We just be interested if a movie or the cover look good, we'll watch it
Did you
and
end up
check it out.
Did you end up catching the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance?
Yeah, I ended up catching some of it. Yeah.
What was your overall thought of it if you watched the whole thing?
My overall thought was just I always felt like I used to be a bit I still respect LeBron and I'm a LeBron James fan, but I used to be like a huge LeBron James fan to the point where couldn't nobody tell me anybody was better than LeBron. But then as I started getting older, it was just seeing and understanding. It was like Jordan, just the level of how he played the game at, like how the highest level, just competing, just his drive, things like that. How he led his teammates and his team, and try to push them to be the best, in the ways that he do it. That's just him. I don't feel like anybody better than him.
I mean, that's.
I got that from him too.
True.
Yeah,
That's
it
true.
was. It kind of left me
But
speechless, and I would watch it honestly. I mean, Dennis Rodman. The one thing I learned is Dennis Rodman is a freak of nature. All right,
oh
man.
my God, dude,
Jordan,
that was insane.
you have anything else to ask Rachaad?
I'm getting into ASU. I'm back next season for ASU. Keep an eye out, bro. Like, really, I'm like, trust me, keep an eye out. So, without further ado, bro, Rachaad, I really do hope you have a successful season at ASU. We'll definitely be in touch throughout the season. Can't wait to see what you do over there, bro. I know you're going to kill it.
Appreciate it, my man.
Can't wait to see you all over the Sports Center highlights, man. You're gonna kill it over there. I know it for sure.
Appreciate it, my guy.
Anytime, man. Thank you,
Thank
Rachaad,
you guys
again.
for everything.
Of course, man. Thank you. Of course.
No
Great
problem,
friend of the
man.
show,
Anytime.
man. Thank you.
Shot White, Arizona State. Let's run it. Woo! Welcome.
All right, my guys. I'm talking to y'all.
All right, man. We'll see
Thank
you.
y'all again.
Of course. Thanks, man. Thank you for everything.
Let's go, bro.
It really was, man.
Arizona.
I toned it down a little. I know, dude. I know. You can't even see the emblem on this. I couldn't.
I know what you mean. Nah, but it's just like
Okay, like that maybe is a little criminal, but that's it.
Anyways, great
right.
interview. I can't wait, bro. I can't.
One next year, if they let fans play,
Yeah,
we don't know yet. Where?
I never been, bro.
To where?
I haven't been to an Arizona State game. I almost went
I
last
only-
year when
I was gonna say I only went with US with
If we are allowed to, we'll definitely do that.
And there's a great sandwich spot there's a great sandwich spot right next to the stadium. We can get our grub on too.
Damn, you already put. Dang,
Hey,
you
dude,
really
I know Tucson, especially around the university area. I know it like the back of my hand. I used to have to walk that every day, miles on end. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see Rachaad though play at Arizona State. Like I said, I don't know if like if I was him, I think I would have made the same decision. I think it's the best way to put it. Like with all the teams, because you got to remember he was looking at Utah. I believe Utah had offered him. You had Hawaii, Boise. His decision and what he kept referring to is that Arizona State's coaching staff is like unlike any other coaching staff in NCAA football, I believe. You know, I completely forgot Marvin Lewis is on the staff. You know, I completely forgot Marvin Lewis is there too. We were over here freaking out that they have Herm Edwards and Antonio Pierce, and I'm like, Marvin Lewis is there. I completely forgot. You know, so that's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's amazing what Arizona State's able to do. Like that's what happens when you have a with them. Like you gotta bring people with them. Like you're not just getting home. You're gonna get Antonio Pierce.
I think people forget
Lewis
that. I think people forget that Arizona State, like, they've been on a really like good trend upward ever since Herm Edwards has taken over that program.
That's why I mentioned it. I was like, oh, like Arizona State was like the like most people would know this if they were to watch football. Like they were the bottom feeders. Like no one paid attention to Arizona State. No one. Like no, that's just facts. Like until as soon as like they start getting good players, they start trending upwards, and they have not declined once since Herm Edwards came through. And honestly, I kind of thought that was. And as a pay scale for players in 2020 would need an MLBPA approval. So basically, they are changing how the players are getting paid. Did you hear about how MLB is trying to change the players' pay? Did you know how? I feel like we discussed this a while ago.
We did. We actually discussed it last week.
Yeah, so now they approved to continue talking about.
So now we're gonna see what players like Blake Snell and Bryce Harper is saying where they won't play. Okay, so then you won't make any money. Basically, is what you're saying.
We're about to see some things. We're about to see some things.
It was never in the players. Unfortunately, it was never in the player's hand. You know, the whole economy stopped. The owners are only gonna pay you based on what they have left. You got to remember, a lot of these NFL, not just NFL, but a lot of these major sports teams make a lot of money off their sales, their ticket sales. And to just kind of like stop that and take that away, you know, like not all the money is going to be there that they were expecting. Now, we are talking on a macro level where you're talking about millions of dollars on top of millions of dollars. So, you know, to a little person like me, that may be like, oh, that's nothing. But, you know, it is a fact that the pool of money that was there, it has less because, you know, there's been less sporting events to make profit of. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I want to get your thoughts on Phil Simms' missed report about Dak Prescott signing his contract.
That's my thought. I don't know what else to say. Just like,
dude, when I saw that, I was like, wait, so he didn't sign it? Like,
I remember seeing it. I was like, uh oh. Why does Dak want so much? And then like 2 hours later, it came out it was fake. And I was just like, yeah, I was just like,
wait,
why?
Ian Rappaport.
Like I'm not gonna call Phil Simms or Ian Rappaport or anyone out, but I'm just like,
as a fan,
why? But like, there's no. If it was made up, there's just no point to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's only gonna come back and backfire. Because it painted Dak Prescott in such a bad light. Oh, I'm only going to play for the Cowboys if I make $45 million a year. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? You know?
Why would he's...
So it sounded ridiculous from the start, and to find out it was all fake, I'm actually glad. Any reason that comes up, is the reason we can't get it done.
You think Dak signs it eventually, or signs lower and hopes he gets another contract afterwards?
I don't get why if Dak doesn't like the. Well,
Dude,
actually, the reports are that Dak wants a long-term contract,
yes.
longer than the Cowboys are giving, which is weird because the Cowboys have always been the type to give out longer contracts. But if I was Dak, I would take, if the salary per year wasn't what I want, I would take the franchise tag and then reevaluate next year. But apparently that's not what Dak is arguing for. Dak wants more years on this contract. So I don't know what's going on. We're not in those we're not in those rooms where they're going back and forth, Dak's agent and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. So I can only just hope, that dude signed for the year, Because I'll tell you one thing. Andy Dalton is not the answer in Dallas. I may have made a video saying about how Andy Dalton is going to be like, I could see Andy Dalton playing really well. But he is not the answer. No, he's not the answer.
No, he's not. No,
he's not the answer because his his playoff record's a lot worse than Dak's. A lot worse.
He doesn't have one.
Both. I'm talking about both, and I'm saying Dak's. I'm saying Dak's is better than Andy's. The other thing is that Andy, he's a lot older, and I'm only saying that because he was drafted in 2011, I believe, and he's 31 years old. Dak is way younger. Dak, I know people are gonna say, Andy Dalton, he's a lot cheaper. That's only for 1 year. And then if Andy Dalton plays good, guess what? We then have to pay Andy Dalton, and we'll give him a contract just like Ryan Tannehill's was. And I'm saying, would you rather have, Andy Dalton signed on a Ryan Tannehill contract, or would you rather have Dak Prescott signed right now? And I'm saying I'd rather have Dak Prescott signed right now. And if N comes to be, you have to trade away some players in order to, as the years go on, to try to keep the roster relevant. But you've signed up by putting all these young players on your rosters at the same time and paying them all at the same time.
Dude,
so
seriously, I don't even know.
And it's like the amount of money the Cowboys have put into this team, where it's like you've paid Jalen Smith, you've paid Zeke Elliott, who else did they pay? They paid, I believe Tyrod Taylor.
You got some defensive players.
They paid DeMarcus Lawrence.
Offensive players.
They paid Amari Cooper. That's who I was missing, Amari Cooper.
Yes.
They've paid everyone but Dak. But Dak last year was the only thing on the team that was consistent last year. So we gotta figure out what's going on under the center for sure. Yeah, thanks, man. I went into a really deep Cowboy wormhole rant right there.
Yeah, and I went into a deep hole right now and discovered that the PGA, the match 2 that happened on Sunday.
It was the highest rated PGA / golf broadcast of all time.
Yeah, 6 million views. 6 million people tuned in to watch Peyton and Tiger take on Tommy and Phil.
Well, a lot of people are attributing it to just the captive audience. That's around the same amount of people who were tuning in to see The Last Dance.
Yeah.
So
it
is. It's almost the same exact numbers. So I think it's just all sports fans are that much.
Did you watch it at all?
I only watched the highlights. I didn't watch it live.
Same. You see the diss that Chuck and Tommy were spewing at each other, going back and forth?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Why don't you refresh the story?
I give it to Tom. He got a sense of humor, bro. Tom Brady really has a sense of humor.
They all do, but if you watch the whole thing, I guess Tom was like really, really playing bad most of the game.
Yeah, he was.
Of the 18 holes.
Yeah, he was.
And I was surprised.
Right
Didn't it surprise you how well Peyton Manning was playing?
You gotta think about this, bro. You think of it like this. What else is Peyton Manning doing right now besides
So
either building houses, doing nationwide commercials, and playing golf? That honestly has. He's not broadcasting. He's not doing any
you know
Peyton
it's
trips.
you know what's funny? It was actually just on Dan Patrick's show right before we went on, and Dan asked him if he's or not Dan not Rich Eisen's show right before we went on, and Rich Eisen asked him if he would ever consider going into broadcasting.
And
He said he doesn't know, but that sometimes when he watches games, he finds himself like analyzing the games right there.
was one step closer to getting Peyton Manning in the booth.
I still want Peyton and Eli together.
Oh,
That chemistry would be amazing. Did you see Eli Manning join Twitter? Joined Twitter a couple of days ago.
Instant follow.
Me too.
Right when he tweeted.
Me too.
I knew he was going to be legendary. Instant follow.
Oh god, this is perfect. This is perfect. The two of them on Monday Night Football. Perfect.
Who? I don't know how much you follow golf. I don't really follow that much, but I kind of know some golfer names. If the match 3 would have happened, just there's only one person that's been publicizing he wants to play in this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, low-key, I'd be down with it.
Who?
But, Pat McAfee and, what's his name? John Daly. Taking on the winner of Tiger and Peyton. Dude, low-key, bro. You know how much money and how dope that would be just to see celebrities, amateurs pair up with pro golfers? Do the same thing that they do with the match, too? Oh, you know how much viewership that would be? I would watch it.
I'd watch it too, but
I'm not much of a golfer, but just to see, like, whatever athletes out there taking on another athlete alongside with pro golfers. I mean, hey, Tiger looked like he was ready to continue.
That's what's. I don't know why, but like watching Tiger play golf with those other 3 human beings, and I know one of them's Phil Mickelson, like an all-time great golfer. But Tiger was like, he was just walking above them. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like you could just tell, like that's the best golfer in the world compared to like how he was like interacting with the other ones.
He barely even talked. I guess I was like looking around trying to like find some stuff, see some stuff about if Tiger was saying stuff. I guess Tiger was saying like giving out cheap shots, but quietly. Like he wouldn't say it out loud, but like he would like quietly give out a cheap shot. It's like, damn, Tiger really is like mentally focused.
I loved Peyton Manning's cheap shot, or what Tom Brady called a cheap shot to him. Someone asked Peyton Manning who he have as his dream caddy.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles, Eli Manning. And then he said, how about Bill Belichick?
And then Tom's reaction, I'd be fine with that. Cheap shot, though. Cheap shot, bro.
That's funny, man. It was funny.
And then Nick Foles tweeted back, count me in, pal. Nick Foles was all up on it. He was like, yeah, I'm down. This is what we needed. We needed this type of beef going back and forth among our favorite athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm in sports.
I just like the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like rivalry. How it's turned into this kind of like just cheap shot back and forth kind of thing. It's really awesome. Really awesome.
It's awesome, bro. Hey, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna bring up our friend in the New York Jet Green who just joined the New York Jet Greens.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Mr. Joe Flacco is now a New York Jet. I want to ask Jordan and everyone else watching, what are the Jets doing? I mean, it's an honest question. What are they doing? Why do they have Joe Flacco?
You think it's because
is he their backup? Is he signed to be their backup?
Think about this though. Does Sam Darnold have someone, an older vet, to help him throughout, an older vet quarterback on the roster to help him navigate through basically being a starter. Dude, he was last season wasn't the most ideal season for him. Obviously,
We contracted mono. They had
yeah.
to just
Besides
sit out
that,
like half of the year.
yeah. But the thing about this though, when he came back, the Jets started to figure it out a little bit.
They
Just a
finished at
little
this.
bit.
They finished the same record with the Cowboys as the Cowboys.
I don't know.
So
But low key though, I feel like he's only there to help him. Like he's not he has to know it. He knows his role. He knows he's not there to start. He lost that starting job in Denver. That was over. He came through, and then Locke started rapping G-Eazy, and it was over.
oh gosh.
As soon as he started rapping Jeezy, it was a lock.
Joe Flacco in Denver was a awful experiment, and I thought that was going to be the last of Joe Flacco being a starter in the NFL. But let me ask you this: what happens when the Jets start off 1-3 or 1-4, and everyone is calling
1-4,
and everyone is calling for Sam Darnold to be benched in favor of Joe Schmo Flacco? Okay, what happens? And then what happens?
They're probably gonna do it.
No.
Just they watch them. Unless they go really like they have their heart set on Sam Darnold, then they're gonna let him learn again.
Then what's the reason of having Joe Flacco in case Sam Darnold comes down with some crazy thing that falls out of the air like mono?
Yeah.
Again,
honestly, no, probably.
Is Sam Darnold gonna get a case of 4-week conjunctivitis where he has pink eye and can't be around his teammates? And that's why Joe Flacco's there? Like, what is the reason?
Dude, I don't even know why Joe Flacco's even went to that particular team when there's other places that could use him.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
That might be a quarterback controversy next year for sure.
You think so? You really think there's gonna be a quarterback controversy?
Only if the Jets start off really bad, and that means the Jets have to be bad.
But if they start off good,
well, then nothing's gonna happen. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is all preseason talk.
It's all preseason. God, we need football back.
Yes, we're just making up scenarios in our head as to what's gonna happen.
Dude, I just thought of something. Joe Flacco played against Le'Veon Bell over the course of the season while he was on the Ravens. Now they're teammates.
Yes.
Idols or the rivals become teammates.
That happens a lot.
That's not, I don't even know if that's a saying, but you know.
That happens a lot.
I know it does, but it's just one of those things. I just thought it was one of those things. But yeah,
always remember, Wes Welker ended his career in Denver playing with Peyton Manning.
Yo, I want to check something real quick just to see, like, I wonder if they play against each other, because if they do, that would just be mind-blowing.
Who?
The Jets and the Steelers. It would be very, very interesting. They do not play them. Okay. I thought they did. No,
Tough luck.
Oh, wait. Hold your horses. Oh, they played them preseason. Damn. That would have been a great game to watch. Yep. They play the Giants, not the Jets. Damn. Thought they played them.
Not the same.
Not the same thing. But, yeah, bro, that should be, I don't know what they're doing. Who knows? It's the Jets. It's the Jets, bro.
Well, the Jets will do Jet things. Maybe they'll become the new Browns, and the Browns will actually, make the playoffs this year.
Hey, I mean, the Browns thought they were going to the Super Bowl last year.
And they didn't even make the playoffs, so.
They did not even make the playoffs. They're still saying they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Exactly, so we'll see what happens. Can't wait for this NFL season, because there's a lot of questions I want to see.
You got any last thoughts before we head out?
No.
No last thoughts? No,
thank you to everyone who supported our show. We hit 30 subscribers in this past week. So if you follow us on YouTube, thank you. Thank you. If you want to join our list of 30 subscribers and be our 31st subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And like these videos if you love the content we're producing. We're also on Apple Podcasts, the P&T Sports Show on Apple Podcasts. If you have an Apple device, you can just click the link in the description of the video if you're watching on the video format, and it'll subscribe you directly from what you're watching, the device you're watching on. So just hit that link. On Twitter, we're official_PT show, and on Instagram, we're official PT show. They say you're supposed to have one for all three, but we like having 3 different ones for all 3 because we're like that.
We like that.
We like that. We like that. You know what it is?
I like that. I like that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Thank you to Sam.
Yes.
Shienbaum
And Rachaad White.
It's amazing. Good guest. Great conversation about both positions. We learned a little bit about long snapping. We learned a little bit about what Rachaad White is up to while he is quarantined in Kansas.
Right.
I like that. Good conversation.
Both interviews were great. I loved both athletes talking about what it's been like to be recruited with this whole crazy situation that's gone on. I get the feeling that with both athletes, not much was changed. Like maybe there was a little bit less like face-to-face interaction, but like constant communication of the recruits. Both Army recruiting Sam and Arizona State recruiting Rachaad. I feel like athletes always respond to recruits that constantly keep in touch with them like that.
Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, if I were an athlete and a recruit kept calling me, I mean, that shows that they want them that bad. That shows they really have a spot for them.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's my opinion. It's just me. I mean, I know.
Yeah, we're not professional athletes at all.
Not even an athlete. Not even close. So I'm barely out there trying to run a mile. But anyways,
I was gonna say I'm not an athlete either, but I could at least run a couple miles.
Hey, Loki, I've been doing good, bro. I've been running 2 miles almost every day. I'm trying to run at least 2 miles every day, bro.
Nice, bro.
Like, that's
I fell off my. Are you running outside or inside?
outside. I don't got a treadmill.
Gotcha.
I know. I see what you got, bro. You're out here.
Yeah, I fell off.
France.
No, I'm not running for no Tour de France. We didn't talk about Lance Armstrong at all. I haven't watched that documentary. Did you?
No, I want to. I need to try to find it.
We'll try to talk about that next episode for sure. Once I finish
that.
There's
a two-parter, so we get the whole thing.
Perfect. I need to finish The Last Dance too, but no, like, dude, I fell off the running bandwagon or the running train for like 2 weeks. I just barely got back on yesterday.
Hopefully it's on ESPN Plus. I'll hook you up with your account though. So you got that.
I'm pretty sure I got. Oh wait, no.
It's on ESPN Plus, bro. I'm binge watching. Oh, binge watch Last Dance again. After I get my stats on it.
Dope. I appreciate it if you're gonna forward me that.
But anyways, I got a day ahead of me. I'm sure folks listening, they got a day ahead of them. I know you probably got one. So, it's been a good show, bro. So
great show.
I will chat with you next week about all things sports. Until then, I hope you have a great day and our listeners have a great day. Don't forget to hit subscribe on all of our pages, as we said beforehand.
Yep, and once again, they are subscribe on Apple Podcast, Puente and Topete Show. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button there. If you're not on YouTube, it is youtube.com/Puente and Topete Show. Official P&T Show on Instagram. We have all of our previous live interviews and live shows. They're up as Instagram TVs. I think that's what it's called, right? Instagram TV episodes. So we have our podcast is also Instagram TV episode form if you can only watch on Instagram. We're official_PT show on Twitter. You can follow us there just to keep up with what we're doing. I can't wait to see what we got next week, honestly. Jordan, hope you have a great day, everyone. I hope you have a great day as well. I don't know Army's thing, but I'll say fork up for Rachaad.
Go Army!
Go Army for Sam, and bear down for the cap and the